Let's start this second tutorial about getting information out of Open Project with entering a few more tasks, such as the task number 4, task number 5. Both of them are going to last 1 week. They're going to be predecessors one from the other. Why not? There's an order in all this. And finally, we're going to get using some of the resources that we already had before, such as this one, right? Okay. First of all, getting information out of this Open Project actually is the most important thing that we do with Open Project. I mean, all that we've done before, all the information that we've entered actually is just for getting to this point right now. Getting information. We don't introduce information in Open Project just because we want to, because it's fun. It's not that fun, actually. I can think of a million things to do instead of entering tasks in Open Project as a fun thing. What's the use of that? I introduced that information because the more information that I introduce, with the more information that I feed him with, the more information it will give me after that. So what I need actually is that Open Project gives me lots of information so I can decide things, so I can plan better, I can improve my planning, I can take decisions out of that information that it gives me. Now, let's take a look at where can I get information from in this Open Project program. Actually, it's very easy. There are just 2 sources of information. It's very easy to remember. First source of information, you can find it here in the menus on top of the screen. You will get this project menu. If we click on it, we get this option of project information. And if we go there, you get this window where you have quick access to information which is very relevant, such as the starting date and the finish date. That of course can be changed. One or the 2 can be changed, and I can start my project earlier on or in the future. I can plan it for next year, whatever, and in any case this finish date is going to be refreshed and is going to be recalculated. Not only this, but I have here on top on the left, I have some tabs. If I click on this tab in here, which is called statistics, take a look at what I get. Not only the dates that I already have actually, but I also get the duration of my project, the amount of work that is going to cost me, and actually the cost, the final cost of this project, sort of a budget that I get out of the information that I introduced before, as you've been seeing in the first tutorial. So this is a very good way of getting a glimpse of my project. How is it going? I mean, is it going fine? Is it expensive? How much does it cost, right? All this information that it's very basic and that I need to know like every time. This is one of them. Again, it's on project and project information. But this is not the only way to get information from Open Project. Actually, if you go to the left side of your Open Project, you get this huge icons, and then you have what we call the views. These are different views of my plan. You have the first one, which is the Gantt chart. You already know this. This is the Gantt chart. We have the second one, which is a cute one because it's what we call the network diagram. It's a very simplistic kind of diagram, but it helps me understand the logic between the tasks. Because this is the only thing that we get. We get each and every one of the tasks in boxes, and each and every one of the boxes linked with arrows, which are the predecessors. So I can clearly see that this project, for instance, has 2 processes in parallel. That's the thing that I need to know with this network diagram. I get it as fast as I can. The third one is the resources tab, the resources sheet, so I can introduce new resources if I want. And then I get a few more that I'm going to just skip for the next tutorial. But now I want you to focus on these ones in here. Take a look at this report in here. It's the number 6 icon on the left. And if we go to the reports, we have some reports that have been already made. So I just have to click and get the information. The first one that I get, just like per default, is this one, which it looks, as you may see, very, very similar to the option project and project information that we were taking a look before. It's actually a sort of summarizing of my project. That's a interesting thing to get. With just one click I get it. But the interesting thing about these reports in here is that I get on top this option of changing the kind of report that I get. For instance, I have 4 options, but I just want you to take a look at one right now. For instance, I can take a look at the task information. I get a list of all the tasks, which I already knew. This is nothing new to me. But I get a new possibility in here. Right next to the report type, I get the columns. And I can change these columns from entry to cost. So in a couple of clicks, I can get a budget, a precise budget of all the tasks of my project. So this is the thing. In a couple of clicks, I can get the information that I want because I already introduced the initial information of the task, of the resources, of the costs, and OpenProject does the rest. OpenProject calculates for me the rest of the information that I need. Now, fasten your seatbelts because now we're going to see a couple of icons on the left and a couple of views that are very, very interesting, even if a little bit complicated. But just at the first glance. After that, you will see that it's very easy and very interesting, actually, very useful for us. I'm going to start for the last one. The last one is what we call the use of resources. In this use of resources, we get a splitted kind of screen. On the left side of the screen, we get all the resources that we have, and right underneath them, I get all the tasks that have been assigned to that person, right? So these are the 3 tasks assigned to this resource in here, and these are the 2 tasks assigned to this resource in here. But this is not the only information that I get, because I get right next to the name of the resources, I get the amount of hours that this person is going to be dedicating to my project, because I assigned him or her as many tasks as I did. And somebody could say, okay, but these 108 hours, where do they come from? Well, they come from 40 plus 28 plus 40. That's the addition, that's the result, 108 hours. So the idea is that I get a perfect breakdown of the amount of work, of the collaboration of this resource in my project. So 40 hours for task number 1, 28 for task 2, and 40 for task number 4. But again, that's not the only thing that I get. That's not the only thing. Take a look at the right side of the screen. What do I have here? Actually, I have a calendar. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. So, what it does is the following thing. Pay close attention here. At the same height of the name of the resource, in this part in here, what do I get? I get the summary of working hours during each and every one of these days that this resource has to do in my project. Take a look at this one. I have a problem in here, a planning problem. This Thursday, according to the plan, this resource in here has 16 hours of work in just one working day. Jesus, I'm going to get tired in here. So, somebody could ask, where do these 16 hours come from? Well, actually, the same. We have the breakdown in here, 8 hours and 8 hours. And where do these 8 hours come from? I take a look horizontally. So, it's 8 hours of task number 1 and 8 hours of task number 4. I have a problem in here. Actually, I could even see it in a better way if I use this icon here on the corner, on the bottom left corner. It's called a histogram, and if I put it in here, I get the 2 resources possibility. I click on the one that I'm right now taking a look at, and watch this. Oh man, now I can clearly see the problem, right? Take a look at this Thursday in here, the 16 hours, 8 plus 8. This is the amount of work. The green zone is the amount of work. And what is this black line in here? This is the maximum amount of work that this person can do in these days in here. And how does OpenProject know about this 100%? Do you remember the percentage that we used before? 150%. This is the maximum capacity. So everything that stays on top of it is what we call overwork. Overwork. So we've assigned too many hours of work to this person in here in these dates. So this person has a huge problem because it's not going to be able to do the work that was planned. So I'm going to get delays out of that. Definitely. So this is telling me that I probably should change something. Maybe I have to rearrange my plan so this doesn't happen anymore. I can take a look at the other resource, of course, and see that in this case there is no huge problems in this particular matter. So actually everything is under control. So this resource in here has no problem in doing her 31 hours of work. It's just perfectly split in here, right? It's perfectly planned. This is what we call the use of resources. So it's a fantastic view to understand what's going on, to understand my plan, how is it affecting to my resources, and if they can finally do it in the amount of time that I was expecting. Again, we have another view just right on top of it, which is the use of tasks, task usage. Instead of use of resources, we have the task usage. And it's a little bit of the same, but now the order is different. In the use of resources, what we had were the name of the resources and underneath them the tasks. Here it's just the other way around. I have the name of the tasks and underneath them the name of the resources that are doing it, that are assigned to it. Again, the amount of hours with the addition of the underneath hours, and again on the right part of the screen we get the information of these hours on the calendar. Again, if I want, I can check in here the problems that I can have. It's the same as before. You can see it in the use of resources or in the task usage. It's exactly the same. So this is all. This is all of it. Actually, these are all the options that we get for getting information out of Open Project. As you may have probably seen, it's not that complicated. There are not so many. They are all in the same place except this one in here. That's the only difference. And the thing is that the key thing here is to enter as much information as we have from our project, our tasks, and our resources, so we can finally get interesting information out of that. Open Project can do many other things, but we're not going to explain it today. For today it's enough with this tutorial. I hope you had fun with Open Project, and now I invite you to try it on your own with the homeworks that you probably have pending. We see us in class.